Hi, I'm Greg,
Hi, I'm Will.
and welcome to our next episode of Theme Parks and Patents.
Today we're talking about the Constellation Carousel at Epic Universe.
So kind of rounding out, I think this is the last one, but we'll do updates after we go there on the Epic Universe rides. They did do some patenting on the Constellation Carousel, so we're just going to go through that.
Doesn't it already exist? They just took it from another places and then made now they just made their own patent about it.
I don't know. I've never seen a carousel like this. I'm surprised.
I've seen other videos that weren't from Epic Universe
of this kind of carousel.
Yeah.
Where it does multiple.
I don't know, but I've seen a video of it before, like on a YouTube channel when they're talking about the Constellation Carousel before Epic Universe started doing previews.
Okay.
It's they showed a little video of a Constellation Carousel based type thing.
Okay, so we'll show some videos of it. I mean, its big thing is that it's a big platform, and then it has smaller rotating circles in it, and then we'll go through the pattern here. I guess just branching out, I think the only thing that, just to kind of go through, you think of it, if you kind of broaden it out, it's level 1 is like a normal merry-go-round, where it's going in a circle. 2 would be like a scrambler. We'll show if that's the one that we have, the scrambler here at Lagoon, but it's one of those rides where they're spinning you and then swinging around so you feel like you're going to collide. I mean, that's the same idea.
Scrambler is also kind of like the Time Tinker in a way.
Yeah, the idea that you're going to collide with other people. So, and that's just you're rotating in a big circle, and then you're rotating in mini secondary circles.
And level 3 carousel is a carousel with 2 stories.
Yeah. Well, I would say level 3 then is a teacup almost, because that's what these are like. And the teacups are exactly this. If you've seen the patents pictures, the teacups are a big round circle, and there's smaller circles inside of it, and then they're turning on it. But then the teacups turn too, so then you have a third amount of rotation because you can spin your teacup.
But then the 4th level of a carousel is when it has 2 stories.
Yeah. Well, so then this is... We're still talking about the 2 stories, but this is actually what I call the 4th level, because now the only difference they're really saying in this would be the animals, or the whatever you're riding on, could be an animal, could be like a cart, it rotates, which is different for a carousel, and it goes up and down. So that's kind of that's their big thing, is these things can rotate
like any other carousel. It goes up and down like any other carousel.
Yeah,
just
but it also
has
rotates, right?
Yeah.
So when you ride on a normal carousel, you're on a horse or something like at Disneyland, and you're just going up and down, and you're going in a circle. So this is you're
wait.
big circle, you're going in a small circle, and you can do your own little small circle like a teacup, and it's going up and down.
Wait, so the little animals spin in a circle?
Yes.
Not on the bigger platform. That's on the even bigger platform. The animals just on the bar can
on their
spin.
pole, yeah.
Oh.
So they have the poles, and the poles aren't hooked to anything. They don't really talk about that, but there's just the pole sticking up.
And that pole makes the horse spin
Yeah, the pole turns the horse too.
So it is like a teacup in a way. Just
it's control. I mean, but teacups you control them typically. And puts a video into that too of teacups. I think everyone knows but this is, you can see in the ride videos, they're going up and down, and then the animals are all turning together to face different ways. So anyway, figure 1 shows that. It shows the whole thing. You have the top level where you have a big rotating disc, and then that's the primary disc. Then you have secondary rotation platforms that each rotate in just like a teacup, and then you have the posts they show them as horses, and the horses can go up and down and turn, and then you can see everything underneath it. These little cylinders are what can drive the horses up and down and turn them. You can see they're labeled 42 here. And then there's the whole big drive unit that takes the whole thing around. And then 30 down here is the rotation for the secondary rotation, for the rotational platforms. So just jumping through, figure 3 shows the wheels as it drives around.
The wheels?
The wheels. Let's go through there. As it on the outside that drive the primary platform. Figure 4 is the rotation devices and motors for the secondary platforms. Figure 5 shows what's in those cylinders that can have a rotation motor. I'm sorry, and an up and down motor to make your animal go up and down and turn. And then figures 6 and 7 are different up and down rotation that they're using in this what they call the center post. That would be back in the main one, the post that's in the center of the secondary circles. And that's really it on this one. They have free patents on it. They're obviously think they really seem to be focusing in on the fact that the animals can go up and down and turn. So they must consider that new. You basically could argue you've just stuck a teacup in a carousel together. I keep on wanting to say merry-go-round, but that's not the right thing. Carousel and teacup together, and that you've arrived at this. But that's it for that one. So I wanted to jump back to a year before this one was filed. They did file another carousel patent that would have been a little more intricate. And it's kind of interesting to think that maybe they were thinking about doing this.
Wait, is it like, would it move like that? Because from the picture, it looks like it moves like that.
Yeah, so if you look at figure 4, this is the same idea. You got like a line here, it can go up and down.
But with how that bends, it looks like it would do this.
Yeah, I think that's just the design. But what it can do is then tilt. So if you see in figure 5 here, the pole can tilt. So then you could actually do what they're saying is a roll with the animal.
So you're like,
so forward and back or side to side, you could roll all around and feel like you're going to fall off this thing. That's one idea that this old patent had. The second idea, and this is where I wonder, when I first saw this and then saw the building they were making in Celestial Park, it's 2 different domes. And so as it sits now, the loading area is the smaller dome, and the bigger dome is the ride area.
Oh, you want something cool they could have done with the 2 domes?
Mm-hmm.
They could make like a maters. Like, you know how... Like,
yeah, and jump back and forth.
Yeah.
So that's kind of this idea. So you look in figure 9 of this older patent. So it's got 2 round areas, but it's a trackless ride. So your little line or whatever on its post, you can kind of see they have 2... almost like they have maybe it's just the sides of them how they're showing it, a line, an animal and a post, and you're on your little disc that would be your trackless ride. And so these could do all sorts of different movements. You could go from this outer circle, you can go from this one circle, which could be a loading area, and then get mixed into the main area where you see the more of the figures, and then they could have you dance. And this also made me think about, so what if we took like Luigi's, which breaks all the time and is very a slow loader, but what if you had a second, like, so you took like the Luigi's Dancing Roadsters, and had a secondary load area, so the cars were always dancing. With this idea, it would be pretty interesting if you could just say, so a couple cars just come out of the dance.
Wait, did they do this, or was this just another idea?
It's an idea, but if you applied it to something like a trackless ride like a Luigi's, just think of how much quicker that ride would be, or how much it would feel if like 4 cars left the dance.
What if they kind of did like the Luigi's tires, where you have to like lean with the air?
Well, I'm talking about the dancing road.
Yes, I know, but what if they did do that?
Yeah, but that's not trackless. That was just like an air ride. So if you do it on a trackless ride, you take 4 cars out, you unload them, you reload them, and then they go and join the dance. But the dance never stops. So that would be a pretty interesting way to do a trackless ride that would also keep it so it would almost be like a constant loader, because you'd always have you'd have the song and the dance always going, but then you would all have cars they would go in for a couple of minutes, dance around, and then come back out, and then you would have a loading area where you're basically constantly unloading and loading people and sticking them back in, and then they go through like a 3-minute cycle. And then everything just keeps on turning over incrementally like that. I thought that would be an interesting idea. Same as this trackless carousel ride that they have. I guess I'm just wondering if this is what they thought about doing with those 2 domes at one point in Celestial Park with this. So the rest of the figures show them moving around. Figure 10 shows them kind of dancing around, and they can go in different tracks and all kind of fly around in a circle here.
That just looks like an accident waiting to happen.
Well, that's the part of trackless rides, though. I mean, the whole gig on Luigi's is that you're just flying around. And
maybe they could do like a special thing where like you could like rub against two cars. Yeah. That could be kind of cool.
I just think it'd be interesting to, like, instead of a Luigi's where it's like you have to load everything, cycle an entire ride, unload, reload, is that you always have this constant loading process going on because the way the trackless system lets you do that. So that'd be something, if someone would do a ride like that, I don't know that one exists. It would be pretty interesting.
I saw a video on like things that are ideas or like conspiracies or of what's gonna come next to Epic Universe, like what's gonna be new. Mm-hmm. And one of my favorites from that video is that in Super Nintendo World they're gonna add a Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah, that's a pretty good. I like that rumor. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I had on Constellation Carousel.
My only thing with the Luigi's Mansion is that I feel like it would fit more in Dark Universe.
Yeah, maybe they could just mix them together. It's half Mario, half scary. So that's it. That's all I had. I like the idea of a trackless ride where you can be constant loading, but other than that, it's like, I mean, Rise of the Resistance is like that, right? You're always the two cars are coming out into that, like, where they're rescuing you, and then you go back out into the ride, and then they swap into empties cars. But it would be that idea, like in a Luigi's. So, but you want to sign us off? You got anything else on Constellation?
No, not really. It's just I want to start doing a new thing where at the end of every video I share like a fun fact about like a theme park. So Universal actually had an idea for a Stephen King themed ride.
What kind of ride was that?
A roller coaster. They didn't do it, but another fun fact about this fun fact was that the fake station in the Mummy ride, like how it has the fake station where you think it's ending, but then it sends you more. That idea came from the idea for this fake station for the Stephen King ride.
Because that's an
older basically ride. The idea was you seen the pull up to the station, but then that scene from The Shining where like blood's coming out of the elevator, that kind of happens where it comes out of the exit, like the blood, and then Pennywise like pops out of the control room. Like they were mainly going to base it off of The Shining and It. And like Pennywise pops out of the control room and basically fake station. And the reason they didn't do this ride is because the pump system they need to do the blood effect would be too expensive.
So this was the ride in the original Universal Studios park. In Florida.
But they did basically the fake station from Revenge of the Mummy was originally supposed to be for a Stephen King ride that they just didn't do.
Okay, interesting.
Thanks for listening to my fun fact, and thanks for watching our video.
All right. Bye, everyone.